Sometimes you hit a wall in photography, not because you're done with it, but because you don't quite know what to shoot next. So in today's video, I'm sharing some simple ideas, things you can start today to get the creativity flowing and find your next project. Hi, I'm Adam and welcome back to First Man Photography. Before we get going today, this video is sponsored by Squarespace. So if you need a domain name, a website or an online store, make your next move with Squarespace. So we've all been there, we're stuck in a photography rut and the creativity just isn't there. And that's because being creative is difficult. It's not always the thing that comes bouncing into our head. You might get little moments of inspiration, but it's difficult to force. So in these moments, I like to look for things that are quite practical, things that are easy to implement. And that's what this video is all about. Some easy, some a bit more tricky, but they're all really good fun and things that I sort of go back to time and time again. The first one is a very simple fact of having a scrapbook. Part of what this does is to remove our photography from the digital world into the physical world. And it doesn't just have to be photography. This is my scrapbook here. I introduced it on a video not so long ago. I've been using it to fill it with some little prints from my outings that I've made using the little Canon selfie printer. I wish I was better at handwriting because I've been writing little bits of in here, little stories from what happened on these shoots, ideas, things like that, if I was good at writing, but I'm not. I think because it's in the physical world as well, it connects us to something more physical. And for me, anyway, that can help get the creativity going. That's number one. So number two, very easy. You can do it today. They work in lots of different environments, lots of different places, is to do a time lapse. Now, you may have done one before, but I've been doing them for years. And over time, you build up a catalogue of time lapses, and they can form a nice little photography project on their own. And when you're posting them online or sharing them in a video, they're a really lovely thing because my friend always was a big fan of them because he said it's like your actual photograph coming to life. The way I do my time lapses are to take a series of photographs using the camera on the time lapse mode. So it's not a video, it's individual images that you then stitch together. So you get that nice clear image. You get all the benefits of the raw files if you want to do that. I've got a really old tutorial about how to do this, but I just love the way they look. And for me, the time lapses were pretty much my first entry point into doing video as well. And they're just a lot of fun. They look great. And I think they can form a really interesting story. They can show weather movements and cloud movements and people moving through a scene. Really interesting. Lots of creative options and something very practical to get your teeth stuck into without needing to think of too many kind of creative, pretentious ideas. Just practical and fun. Now, number three, this is a big one, and it's coming from a very smug personal point of view, because I've now been off social media for nearly a year. There's a video, when that year strikes, there is a video coming, but I've been off there for nearly a year now, and I've also cut out watching a lot of news and mainstream stuff like that. And I can tell you now, having done that for a while, that social media and the news in this way are poison for the mind. I've got absolutely no doubt about it. I feel so much better. I'm much more productive. I've been doing things out and about away from photography that are fun as well. I've just got so much energy back from doing that thing or being on that thing and being a slave to these devices. I hardly ever have this with me now. My wife doesn't like it because I don't answer my calls. But I feel so much better. And I think anyone can benefit from it now. Occasionally, when I have had a quick look at Instagram or Twitter, I'm on there for about 5 seconds because you just realise what absolute insanity that is. The discourse and the conversation and the nonsense, goop, glob content is just terrible. Get off. Get off your phone, get off social media and go out and take some photos. That's basically the thing here. That alone could spark a new photography project idea in your head. Personally, I think it's a good idea to get out into nature as well. Go for a long hike and take some photos. Do something that's just a little bit more difficult than you'd normally do. Push yourself just a bit more than you're capable of. And over time you build on that, your comfort zone grows, and you just start to do more and more. All of a sudden, you're creating these amazing photography projects that no one ever thought you were capable of. Number 4 is to try a new photography technique. It's not easy to come up with a creative story to tell, but what is easy is to try a new technique. Easy is maybe the wrong word, but it's practical and it's achievable. There are loads of different ones. You could do long exposure if you've not done that before. I think that works really well for landscape photographers. ICM as well, intentional camera movement. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but it works pretty well. You could go black and white, do some street photography in black and white, or portraits in black and white. I think exploring black and white is a really interesting thing to do to get a different feel of the tone rather than just the colour, and how that communicates your thoughts and ideas of the scene onto the actual final print. Infrared, have you tried that before? That's pretty cool. You can get an infrared camera, but I used to use just an infrared lens on the front of the camera that then created like this long exposure. One good goal to aim for if you do try a new technique is to try creating a series of images. So say if you do long exposure at the coast, create a series of 10 images, say, over the course of this project that creates a cohesive project. So there's links between the story and the look and feel of the image, and it has some cohesion across the 10 shots. That's what forms and starts a project. And if you do that, you can start thinking about submitting it to the RPS and getting accreditations and things like that, because that's the kind of thing they're looking for, a cohesive story. Number 5 is a bit more of a technical process, but it's good fun. And I think for photographers, it's important today. And as you know, this video is sponsored by Squarespace, who will help you build your website. And if you're a photographer, I don't think there's anywhere better than Squarespace to build your own website. I think in 2025, building your own website is more important than ever. Like I said, social media is horrible, but having your own website, your own little corner of the internet, is just a beautiful thing. It's what the internet was all about right from the beginning. And with Squarespace, it's just so easy to do. You can use one of their beautiful templates, or now they have AI features which will help you build a custom template. And before you know it, you'll have a unique and beautiful looking website all of your own, where you can show your images and your work exactly how you want. You can start with a simple gallery where your images just look big, bold, and beautiful, and you can direct people to your website to look at those images. Squarespace will also grow with you. So if you want to then start selling things like books or prints or calendars or workshops or mugs or zines, we'll talk about that a bit more in a minute, you can do that just as easily on Squarespace. It will also adapt to whichever screen your viewer is looking at it on, and in these days you've got to think phone first, and Squarespace websites look beautiful on a phone. They've got award-winning customer service. I've used them for years. I just wish I'd discovered them sooner in my photography journey. So build a website. It's a brilliant thing to do. And then use the offer code FIRSTMAN. That's right, FIRSTMAN. Tell them that I sent you there, and you'll get 10% off your first purchase. Happy building. It's a super satisfying achievement when you've done it. Right, next, you will not be surprised to hear me say that I think you should try printing if you have not done so already. If you are printing, I've got something to take that to the next level coming up in a minute. If you've never tried printing your own work, then I really think you should. I've got loads and loads of videos all about how to print, but you don't need to do it on your own printer. There are options to do it at a lab or just with a really cheap printer that you might have in your house already. If you go to my website at firstmanphotography.com, I have a masterclass of printing. So you can go and see all my printing videos in one place. And I think that's a good place to get started. But just, as I've said so many times on this channel, getting your work in hand, bringing that work back out of the digital world, yanking it out of the digital world into the physical world where you can appreciate it in big, other people can see it, and they immediately understand that that's a piece of artwork rather than just a photo that you flick through in 3 seconds on Instagram. Printing is the way forward. Physical photography is the way forward. If you don't want to just print individual pictures because you don't think anyone will buy them, one thing, really good thing to do, is to create like a photo zine, a little book that you can print that has all your work in it. Now, you don't even necessarily need to sell these. You can just do it for yourself because they're quite cheap to get printed. It's not hardback, just a little paperback book with a series of your images in it. It's one of the first things that got me excited about digital photography back in the day, because I had all these digital images from a couple of holidays that I'd been on and I didn't really know what to do with them. So I just got them made into a little photo zine, got it shipped to my home address, and then they're all there in physical form, and I've still got those books today and I absolutely love them. And it's just like having an old school photo album, but it's a bit more thoughtful. It's telling a bit of a story in this little photo zine, and it's just a great thing to do. And if you're a really good photographer and you've got some good images and you can put them all into a zine, you could sell it. You sell them on your website and you make a little bit of money on the side of whatever else you're doing. And when people buy your physical artwork, whether it's a book or a print, it's so satisfying. And I love buying photo books. A few of them here. I've got Sean Tucker's there, which I actually didn't buy that. He gave it to me. And then I've got one here as well by Mally Davis. Love it. Such a good way to buy photography. And that leads me on to my next little project that I think ultimately benefits all of us. This is something that you could start today, and that is to buy the work of another photographer. I think a lot of us get into photography, especially landscape photography, so we can put our own work up on the wall, but we can't operate in a bubble of one person. As lovers of photography, if we're not buying other people's work, how can we expect anyone to buy ours? I talked a few years ago, I think now, about printing, and I, to this day, try to stick to buying one piece of work for every 5 to 10 prints I sell, depending on how much money I'm making. That works really, really well. I think if we all followed that, then there'd be a much better sort of circular economy around buying each other's work and buying photography, buying physical photography, because it's really all that's going to save this hobby or industry or photography thing that we all love, because the economic value is being extracted from it all the time, especially in the digital space. And to prove this, what I want to do is now buy something. I want to promote somebody here and buy it live, not live, but as we record this video. This is Chris Caesar's website, but this browser is cool as well, because I think rather than using social media, you should bookmark people's photographers' websites. So I've got quite a few here. Charlie Waite, Thomas Eaton's, Andrew Marr, all my sort of favourite photographers from the last little while. I'm going to go with Mally Davis today, though, because I know he's got a new zine out. See, it all comes together. It all comes together. And I'm going to go to the shop. Squarespace websites are nice as well, aren't they? Really pro-looking. And it's this one here, In at the Deep End. Now, there's a digital version. I want the print version. So I'm going to add that to my cart. £19. That's an absolute bargain, I think. An absolute bargain. Maybe a little bit underpriced. I think he could have gone with 25. Anyway, let's check out. I'll have to block some of this out. I don't want you coming to my house, if I'm honest. £6 shipping, £25. Again, that could have been 30, 31. I would have still been very happy with that value. And then just click purchase. Completing my order. It's exciting, isn't it? You get a buzz from buying someone else's work and knowing that thing's going to get delivered to your house so you can look at it in a physical fashion. There we go. Done. Order summary, and then I should get an email into my inbox. And that's exciting. I feel really good about that. Getting a new piece of photography content to look at in physical form, supporting my friend Mally Davis, one of the just best people out there. And I'll put a link down below if you want to support Mali as well and buy his book or his zine. Oh, yes, I'm excited about that. Right, what's next? A little bit more advanced now. So you're printing your work, we can take things to the next level by framing it. And framing is notoriously expensive. Now, I've mentioned that before, and I've had comments saying, oh, you can get really good print frames from Amazon and IKEA and things like that. And yes, they look fine, but they are made from MDF and they have very thin plastic that's not of the highest quality. They're fine, they look okay, but when you get a solid wood frame, and if you can get glass in it as well, they just look extraordinary. It's disturbingly expensive, though, to get good frames. So I've been making my own. I think making your own frame is one of the most fun projects in photography I've had for many, many years, because at the same time, I learned a load of new skills about woodworking. It doesn't have to be expensive either. At first, I had this kind of idea in my head that I was going to be some sort of artisan, handcrafted woodsman, woodworker. That is not how it turned out because it's really difficult. So I did quite quickly revert to using power tools, and making my own frames is super exciting. I've been promising to make a framing video for quite a while now. I did make this one that you can have a look at to see the concept to final framed print, but I do need to get that framing video made. I've got this beautiful, beautiful American walnut to make the frame out of, so I really need to get that done. And last but not least in today's list is to go for a wild camp. Again, I was talking earlier about trying to push yourself a bit further than you're comfortable going. Indulging yourself in some sort of photography trip is a way to get your creative ideas juiced more than anything else. If you can afford to pay for a trip, then go and do that. But wild camping is free. And you wake up, if you get up that mountain with all your tent and stuff, or your bivvy, when you get up there, and in the morning, you wake up with a mountainous view, and you're there by yourself, and it's a beautiful sunrise, you have got the best hotel room in the whole world. No doubt about it. And it's free. It takes work and effort to get there, but it's so worthwhile. And these kind of experiences out in nature just get the blood flowing in your head as much as they do in your body. And that creates ideas. It juices creativity. And I've never come away from one of those trips without a really good project idea in my head, or an idea for a new picture, video, whatever it is that you do. But there's no real secret to any of this. It's just about doing something. Do something. And really, I'm not talking to you here, I'm talking to myself, because I've been in a rut recently and I need to get out of it. The next video, shall I promise you? I promise you, will be out and about. I've had a bad back, so it's been tough, but I'm going to get out and about soon and get some photography going again. That is my promise to you. I hope you've enjoyed that. I'll see you on another one very, very soon. Click here to watch a printing video. Click here to watch an adventure that I did have recently. And I'll see you again very, very soon.